Hello, and thanks for joining us on the podcast that discusses all things gaming. Coming to you from the home of GenCon and the gaming capital of the world, this is The Established Facts. This is Big Don from The Established Facts, and we are at the last day, that's right, day 3 of AwesomeCon Indianapolis 2014. I am joined here with my very special friend, Mr. Josh Demaree.
I'm special now?
Special.
Oh, thanks.
That's right, and our new friend, Matt Hoffmann. Matt, please introduce yourself, kind of tell our listeners who you are, what you do, and why you're here.
My name is Matt Hoffmann. I am the, what we call the commanding officer for Massa Espa base of the Rebel Legion, and also the event coordinator of Bloodfin Garrison for the 501st Legion. Perhaps you've heard of us. We're those guys that play Plastic Spacemen on the weekends for Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, man.
The Stormtroopers and the other Star Wars characters that you see at cons, and then also that's our fun stuff. And then we also do we focus everything on our charity work. You know, it's our belief is charity, costuming, and community. And yeah, so we were here at AwesomeCon this weekend to promote ourselves, but also raise money for Gleaners Food Bank in Indianapolis. We wound up, I think I just heard we raised $260 for them for doing our Blaster Trooper function, our charity thing, where for $1 or $2 or $5 donation, you get a Nerf gun and you shoot at Stormtroopers, which everybody loves,
right?
Except for the Stormtroopers. But yeah, and
well, how would they know? They're always
that's true.
Anyway.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun, and the kids love it, and it's a great way to get money for charity, and 100% of those proceeds go to that. So we're a 501c3 organization, so we don't keep anything.
Is it ironic that you're a 501c3?
I know, right? We're a 501c3. It's almost they did that on purpose. But yeah, so.
That's very cool. That's very cool. And you guys have been at AwesomeCon all 3 days.
Yep.
And it seems like you've had a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people coming interested in asking you guys questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, and also it was great that we were in the kids zone here at AwesomeCon. So when kids were done coloring or they were getting their face painted or whatever else, we could go up and say, "Hey guys, you want to shoot at a Stormtrooper? Yeah, go ask your parents for $1." So yeah, it worked out really well for that.
That is, yeah, dude, that's awesome.
So yeah,
that's like the smartest thing ever.
Exploitation at its best.
Hey, I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, and I mean, really, what's a buck? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, honestly, that's really cool. And you guys are raising money for Gleaners, which seems like everybody's been kind of throwing it Gleaners' way this year.
Oh yeah,
really
absolutely.
Cool.
And because when we donate some stuff for them for during PopCon, and it's always when you think of Gleaners Food Bank, you think, oh well, I'm going to send them food,
right?
You know? And
right.
But they're they're a volunteer organization as well, a lot like us, and they need money for other things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one thing to give them food, but it's another thing to give them money to help pay for just the day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and I think Indie PopCon's done it. GenCon did it. There's actually the Hoosier Gamers are running a special event in a couple of weeks on the 18th of October. They're doing a gaming event down at the Franklin Community Library in Johnson County.
Oh, cool.
And it's a canned food drive and donation drive game day thing at the library. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see so many people really getting in behind that charitable spirit of giving and stuff like that. And I know it's kind of a big thing for us. Once a year we do some charity work and stuff like that in May, June for an event we go to called Fear the Con. And we got a chance to raise some money for some charities this year with that. But I will say one thing that I know probably shouldn't be surprising, but on occasion, in general, when you talk to people who are cosplayers, they're not always the nicest people in the world, or they're a little bit too into their costume. But my brother and I came with my 2 sons on Friday, and we just stood around, talked to, is it Jeff? Jeff, who was dressed in his Jedi outfit like he is today.
Yep.
And literally talked his ear off for like a good hour. and you know, we had a couple other guys who came up, and they were in their Stormtrooper or their Clone Trooper uniforms, and genuinely the nicest guys in the world.
Thank you.
I mean, like everyone we've gotten a chance to talk to, including yourself, just really awesome, really nice people.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that, I mean, we don't want to do all this by ourselves.
Right.
You know, the only way that we're going to get people out and participating is if we help them. You know? I mean, doing Star Wars costuming is not easy. I mean, doing any costuming is not easy, but you know, the 501st and the Rebel Legion, we pride ourselves on looking like we walked off the movie set. So you can't do that by yourself.
Right.
And so if we're not friendly and we're not helpful, then we're not going to get people to come and hang out with us. So we pride ourselves on that, and we really have the advantage here in Indiana of the fact that our local 501st group and our local Rebel Legion group get along really well. That doesn't happen everywhere, for whatever reason. But here in Indiana, you know, we realized a few years ago that my friend Charlie Carlson, who was the CEO of the Bloodfin Garrison at the time 5 years ago, you know, we got together and we're like, you know, we're better together than we are alone. You know, why would we separate? Why would we do these things separately? Kids want to see everyone. They don't want to see just
They want to
Stormtroopers.
see
They
Jedi
want to see
and Stormtroopers.
Jedi and Princess Leia and everybody else. So, so here in Indiana, you know, we're still 501st, we're still Rebel Legion, but we also go under the banner of Star Wars Indiana. So that's important to us. So to have not just our Legion presence, but also a local presence as well. So
very cool.
That would explain why there was a shirts walking around with Star Wars Indiana. I didn't realize there was.
Yeah, so that's us. Yeah.
So what other events? I know we hear about parades and involvement that you guys kind of do. What other kind of annual events here in Indiana in particular you guys get involved in besides cons? Cons are a great place for you to get your name out, but what else are you out there?
Yep. We next weekend is Star Wars Reads Day, which is an international event where, you know, at libraries and bookstores around the world, you know, they use Star Wars as a way to get kids to read. So that's
the 11th and 12th. Is that? It's October 11th.
Yeah,
and 12th?
Next weekend. Yeah. Sorry, 11th and 12th. And so we'll be all over the state next weekend. And you can go to StarWarsIndiana.com to see all of our upcoming events on the front page. We do every year. We do an event with Naptown Rollergirls.
Oh, very. We actually had a couple friends who went to that Star Wars event.
Yeah. We've been doing that. This will be our 7th season with them.
Very cool. Very cool.
And we're really excited about it. It's become an annual thing, and it's awesome. So we do that every year, and then we just started working with the Indians.
I bet that's fun.
Yeah. It wound up being, I think, their highest attended event this year.
Well,
was that.
I can imagine why.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and so we do that now. I think that's going to start being an annual thing. There's talk of it being next year during GenCon.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
it'll be like GenCon Friday
cool.
will be Star Wars night with the Indians.
Draw a GenCon crowd to an Indians game. That'd be really neat. Yeah. I would too. That'd be really cool.
That's the rumor. I'm letting you guys have that info
first. That's awesome.
But yeah, so we do that, and again we do the Million Meal March. We do that every year. I'm trying to think of more stuff of that. We did a lot of stuff with what's the word? With the not walkathon. Shoot, I forget. I'm sorry. We do a lot of stuff for 5Ks and children's cancer walks and things like that, which we're doing a lot of this year. But yeah, I mean that's a lot of it.
So I know you guys do a lot of local stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you guys have opportunities to do like stuff on the national stage with other 501st groups and Rebel Alliance groups?
It depends. It depends on the location, obviously. I did some stuff in Chicago several years ago when Clone Wars premiered. So that would have been 5 or 6 years ago, I think, at this point. We did an event up there.
Very cool.
there's always Star Wars Celebration every other year. And this next year it'll be in April in California. So we'll do that. And then, if we go to other cons and stuff and that sort of thing.
Okay.
There have been a lot of this year Major League Baseball events and NBA events. So those will be like Star Wars Night with the Chicago Cubs was a few weeks ago. Or the Detroit... it's the Detroit Tigers. Thank you. I'm not a baseball person.
Me either. Okay.
So, but yeah, so there'll be stuff like that where it's a more high-profile national stage kind of event. But yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. That's very, very cool. So, just for anyone who might be interested, which I myself am included in this.
I'll say that I am as well.
If you wanted to get into the Rebel Alliance for the 501st, what sort of club dues or application dues or just qualifications in general to get in?
The only qualification is that you have a movie quality Star Wars costume.
And how does that come about?
That comes about from, the first thing that you do is that if you go to, especially if you're an Indiana resident, you can go to StarWarsIndiana.com and just introduce yourself to the group. Say what you're interested in doing, what you'd like to find out more information on. You can go to rebellegion.com or 501st.com to get sort of the requirements for a costume that you're interested in. And then it depends on which group you want to be in. If you want to be in a 501st type of costume, it's best to go through the detachments. So there's a separate group for stormtroopers and a separate group for clone troopers.
Okay.
And run through Sith Lords and crewmen, and so there's just
kind of like auxiliary parties to each main group.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you go to those groups to find out more information about those particular costumes.
Okay.
It's a lot of I know a guy who knows a guy kind of thing.
Okay.
We always recommend you don't go on eBay to buy a costume. Just don't. Because you don't know what kind of quality it is. You don't know where it's coming from. So if you go locally, if you talk to us, we can set you in the right direction to a more reputable source to get that kind of thing from.
And from talking to some of the guys that did costume this weekend, especially the Stormtrooper guys or even the Clone Troopers, anything that has like that armor to it, it seems like if you were to buy like a completed suit, you'd really kind of be shooting yourself in the foot because there's a lot of customization you need to do for your own body type for that kind of stuff.
Yep, there's a website that shall remain nameless that's starting to sell full suits of clone trooper armor or full Darth Vader costume or whatever, which are really good costumes. They're great costumes, but they're not fitted to you.
Right.
So
it's almost like you spend the money and then you have to cut it all up just to get it to fit to you and then fix it again.
So it's best to start with with Stormtroopers just comes in a box of pieces.
Right.
And you have to assemble it and glue it and rivet it and do all these other things to it. And if you find us, and we will help you, and we can get this. And we do armor parties, which is what we call them every few months, so people can take their projects and work on them. And again, not by yourself. There'll be people that have tried to do this on their own, and they come to apply with it, and then they realize that this is missing or this is done wrong or whatever else. And had they talked to us first, we could have saved them a lot of trouble and a lot of money and whatever else. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a little while. I hope you enjoyed AwesomeCon.
It was great.
What's the next big event, convention style thing that we're going to see you guys at?
In 2 weeks, October 18th, we are at CocomoCon, which is in Kokomo.
Right.
I know, right? We're up there. It's a similar type of show. It's comics and toys and collectibles, and we have a table there, and we'll be doing Blaster Trooper there as well for the Humane Society.
Oh, cool.
So yeah.
Very cool.
We'll be there, and then next weekend on the 11th is Star Wars Reads Day, so we'll be around town for that. So, but again, just come to StarWarsIndiana.com, and on the front page you'll see all of our upcoming events.
Very cool. All right, thank you so much.
I got one more question for you. We got a lot of cosplayers that listen. We tend to be a primary gaming podcast, so we notice we get into conversation about general geekery and nerd as it is, and just because we do.
Yeah.
So you come to a con, tons of cosplayers around. I know you guys are focused more on Star Wars and everything, but What one bit of advice